Whoa, 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 whoa. Did I hear what I think I just heard? Okay, this is crazy. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, Candace Owens' new episode, she dropped a bombshell, you guys, and it's freaking out a lot of people. Interestingly enough, it seems like she had a lot of people that joined on the live, but the follow-up viewership after the live kind of posts to her channel, they haven't hit over a million yet as of what the numbers look like right now, but I find it quite interesting because this is exactly what people have been expecting from her, especially after that update from yesterday or day before yesterday. So I don't know. I think people are going to be shocked at the bombshell that she drops in this episode. So this gentleman right here that she has on camera, his name is Mitch, and she kind of gave a synopsis of who he is, his backstory, and everything in a previous episode. If you've been following closely, you know who Mitch is and you kind of know his background story. But she's about to ask him to kind of go into the night that he was on base and he was at the hotel, and people that he identified that at the time he didn't know exactly who they were. But now, after the assassination took place with Charlie Kirk, and he started seeing a lot of the members from TPUSA, he now can confidently identify the individuals that he saw while he was in Arizona. So let's take a look at what Mitch has to say.
I want to pivot now. So you're, they put you, there's this gag order or, non-disclosure agreement, and it is 25 long years. And it happens
35.
35, pardon me, 35 years. You're told, yeah, you can suffer, the cartels can chase you, change your name, but you keep your mouth shut about it. And finally in May this year, it expires, right? This gag order expires, and you say to yourself, I am going to go down to that base where I was trained. I'm going to go down to Fort Huachuca, book myself into a hotel. I'm going to go to the criminal division, the investigative division. I'm going to get that original paperwork and get some answers to why I feel that my life has been effectively ruined for me having done what I was ordered to do by the government. So you get to the base, and I want you to address this because there were so many people who were like, there's no way you could have gotten onto the base. Obviously, you sent me your military cards, and I think we can show a picture of that. You get onto the base, and I want you to walk us through what time, and I did show a timeline, but about, you don't have to be perfect here. We already showed a timeline, but like you get to the base and just kind of what's your general mood. And this is on September 8th, the evening of September 8th at the Candlewood Inn and Suites, which you have given me all the documentation for.
Okay. Yeah, getting into Tucson, there was a little bit of a issue getting the rental car and stuff, so that took a little while, a little bit of a delay, but we made reservations ahead of time for me to be there. And I get down to the base. For those that think that people can't get on base, no, typically you can, as long as you have your ID, your insurance, and you have a purpose for being there. I certainly did.
And
That's why
Skylar,
they
you can
have
show that
hotels.
documentation as he's speaking. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, we made reservations, and I got to the hotel. It was sort of hard to find, but once I found it, I sort of recognized it because it was that was actually the barracks that I had when I was there in AIT training, but they converted it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. All of a sudden, I'm staying in the same barracks. A really nice place, by the way. Wonderful beds. But yeah, I check in, and as I'm doing that, you can tell that there's regular military people, young kids that are there, probably just checking in to post, stuff like that. There were a couple people that stood out. and they're a little bit older. And as I'm checking in, one guy that was sitting on the couch, he just had a sheen to him. Looked like he had a professional military sheen to him. If I had to guess, being a special forces guy, I would have guessed that he's ex special forces, probably doing something down there, probably contract. He was definitely waiting on something, and
Age about, just so we can get a description. Age.
I'd say 30, 33 to 40, about there, give or take. I wasn't there to check out people or check ID cards. I just happen to know him, and veterans, especially SF guys, when you notice somebody like that, I almost had the impression, so much so, that I was going to go up and ask him what group he was with and say hi and thank him for his service. I didn't really get that chance. So as I'm checking in and then I go to my room and then come back out, he was joined and joined by a female that you can definitely tell when, how do you put it, when people are well off and they're dressing down. She was definitely dressing down, and it was very well kept. The one thing I noticed about the woman that really stuck out to me was her eyes, and I have an ex that has caused me a lot of problems. So when I see someone with striking blue eyes like that, they stick out. And I was on the phone with my wife here, and I even told her about it. I said, "Oh, geez, somebody has those kind of eyes." It creeped me out a little bit, and it had nothing to do with that person. Just life is what it is. But as I was checking in, I was going to go back and actually talk to that person, the guy, and between me at the front desk and then going back to my room one time and then coming back out, I was going to go to dinner. They had gotten into, there was a vehicle parked out front, big green truck. It looked like a real shiny GSA type. They were getting into that vehicle and driving off. And that night I went to dinner at some, a little bit crazy. People in Sierra Vista, they can probably verify, there was a Mexican sushi place in Sierra Vista.
Okay, so pay very close attention to the fact that he said that someone that he saw there had very insanely striking blue eyes that reminded him of not so great of a person who was once his ex, who had very similar eyes. So they stood out to him because of, I guess, trauma that he's experienced in his past. So he said that he also said it to his wife as well. So we're going to skip to the part to where he gets into describing how he was able to figure out who this person was. But before we get into that, just to kind of go over what he was explaining. So he was explaining how they held him on the base when he went to go look for answers for the situation in which he was there for, regarding what he experienced in the military 35 years ago. That has pretty much been haunting him this entire time. He was just trying to find answers to be able to, I guess, bring justice to the situation in which he has had to deal with for the last 35 years. So he was just kind of going over that. And you can go back and watch the episode to be able to hear in detail what he talks about regarding his situation. But he's now going into talking about the ending of them not being able to continue to hold him, and they eventually release him, and then he goes into what the next 24 hours of his situation look like.
They were looking for any excuse to try and hold me up for like 24 hours. And that 24-hour number kept getting repeated by them. And then eventually they didn't have anything to hold me. I wasn't a harm to myself or others. I wasn't there to, spy on anybody. I really just wanted to get records and get out of that desert. Um, as reminiscent as it was, the place creeps me out a little bit. So, yeah, once they said you have to stay off base for 24 hours, don't worry about it, I ain't coming back. Got to Tucson, stayed the night there in a hotel. Never got a refund on my Candlewood Suites. But yeah, got on the plane, and before we touched down, I had a stop off in Salt Lake City. By the time we wheeled down, we got the news about Charlie Kirk, and of course that's been just all over the news. Everybody's watching it, and I don't think anybody's believing what the federal government's saying about it for sure. But what I noticed, I don't know these people from TPUSA. Never been associated. I could recognize Charlie Kirk probably. But what I started seeing come across got more familiar once I saw a picture of somebody in a ponytail with those eyes. That was that person. They were there. And yeah, the head of security there, he was one of the people walking out with the congressman. Now, how would I know that? I just have a gift for recognizing people. And yeah, maybe it's not him. Maybe he has doppelganger, but somebody with the same mannerisms, the same crick in his neck, face, the waxy look on his face, hand gestures, shoulder shrug, gait, approximate height, haircut, definitely walked past me. And
If
in
you
the
had to
hotel,
put it at a percentage that you were looking at Brian Harpole, maybe he's got a brother in the military, who knows, right? Maybe he does have a doppelganger, he's got a twin brother, who knows? And I want to be clear, I can confirm on this podcast live every step of your story in terms of where you went, what time you were there, that there was this big meeting that happened. I've confirmed the location with other people that are on Fort Huachuca currently. I can confirm everything with metadata. I obviously can't confirm that you saw who you say you saw. If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put it at?
95.
95%. Okay.
95 to 99. I mean, when I saw him, on the interview with his face and gestures, with that photo, it struck me in my gut. I blew it off until there was, some other pictures that came up with other people.
What other people? Other pictures?
If you want me to say, there's a picture of Erika Kirk with a ponytail, and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Is he saying what I think he's saying? So Erika Kirk is the woman, the mysterious woman that he saw on base at this hotel 2 nights before Charlie's assassination? Wow. Wow.
And she was with that man in the lobby. And that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erika Kirk, what percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's 95 to 99%.
Oh, wow.
I can't imagine somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So what I'm going to say, because obviously that's very explosive, and it's one of the reasons why I wasn't sure if I wanted to have you on. I'm going to be honest with you because gosh, I mean, I guess I'll tell you the conflict that I had and just be just as honest with you as you are being with me. The first thing was I can't confirm it, right? I can confirm where you were. I can do all of that, but I can't confirm what you think you saw. I don't know you. I don't know. There are people like my husband who we can see someone once and he recognizes that person 10 years later exactly where we saw them. And there are people like me and I kind of have facial blindness until I meet someone 3 times. The second thing was I didn't want people to wrongly extrapolate things and say, okay, well, maybe she was on the base. Maybe there's a chance she wasn't on the base, right? That she has a doppelganger. People do have doppelgangers. I have doppelgangers, right? But let's say she was on the base. Let's say you're right and you saw her. This is the night before. This is on the 8th. And maybe she was in the hotel, but maybe she was there for a different reason. Maybe she was there because she's always been open about the fact that her mother moved to Arizona because she got involved with the military. So that could be totally unrelated to the meeting that took place on the 9th. And I didn't want to, but then I said to myself, this man has lived through so much. You know what I mean? This man has lived through so much. And I would be turning my back on this really a hero for discovering the cartels who's lived through so much and has been treated like the government. And then I struggled with my own soul going, I'm turning my back on him because I'm afraid of backlash for allowing him to tell the truth. And so my soul was in conflict. And I decided that, you know what, this is not my platform, okay? I genuinely believe this is God's platform. I am a conduit. I don't know why I have a platform. And I don't know why you have this luck in life. I really don't. I don't know why these things happen to you or why they happen to me. But I know that my prayer was very intentional that night that I received that email. So I'm going to allow the internet to hear your testimony, hear what you think. And I also want to show them a picture because we did look through some congressmen and I didn't tell you where they were congressmen from, but there is one that you thought looked familiar. And I am going to show that picture of him now. This is, and Skylar, someone's got to get in my ear because I'm blanking on his name. Mark Amodi. Is that right? Mark Amodi from Las Vegas. And you thought that this could potentially be the congressman that you saw on the 9th?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
What
the one that walked closest
percentage?
to me.
That's the one that walked closest to you.
That's 95. I'm absolutely, after I've looked at it, that was definitely the guy.
Wow. Okay. So, a few things. This kind of explains why Erika was so quick to try to absolve herself from ever being on an Egyptian plane. This definitely explains why she got so nervous when she was getting interviewed by Barry Weiss the first time before the town hall. Why she kind of reacted the way that she did when the Egyptian planes got brought up, and she said, I was never on an Egyptian plane. I have proof that I was in the hospital because she was having contractions. Now, she never confirmed whether or not she was pregnant or anything. So, I mean, who knows what the contractions were coming from. But a lot of people thought that was strange that she reacted that way to the Egyptian plane accusation when no one ever actually said that she was on a plane. So what was said was that Egyptian planes were tracking her, meaning her location correlated perfectly with one of the Egyptian planes 69 different times or 68 different times. No one ever said she was actually on any of these planes unless she was. We don't know. Now, multiple people have confirmed this data to be true. This isn't only Candace saying that. Another thing, a lot of people were calling out the fact that they felt like Candace was bought. They didn't like her energy when she did the update. They kind of felt like her energy was a little bit off. She was being accused of being too happy, too excited, too joyful. Which I kind of didn't feel that way too much, but I definitely noticed it. She was extremely joyous, but I took it as she got answers for a lot of the things that she was pondering, and a lot of the things that people were saying she was lying about. She was able to get proof that she wasn't lying about those things. Like, she was able to get concrete proof from Erika, her lawyer, and the other gentleman that was there with Erika, that a lot of the things that she was saying and suggesting was actually true. I would be excited too after being called a liar for almost 2 months, So I took her excitement like that. I took her sarcasm that way as well. So I don't really understand why some people were feeling suspicious about that. But one of the conspiracies that was going around that I kind of thought was really silly was that some people were suggesting that she was excited because she was informed that Charlie was still alive, and she possibly got to see him. She possibly got to speak to him. I think that that is a bit much for people to be saying that. It almost feels reminiscent to people thinking that Tupac is still alive. It's just like, just give it a rest, you guys. I mean, it had me so whacked out that people were saying that I ended up speaking with my significant other, and we ended up having kind of a back and forth because of a lot of conspiracies that came out a little bit earlier about that, as far as whether or not the actual shooting and his body collapsing on stage was possibly a hologram. I thought it was absurd. My husband thought it was absurd as well. And I'm just like, but when the video that I saw, I actually didn't see any blood. So maybe I saw the same video that Candace saw. Maybe it was just a weird angle. And he was just like, no, the video I saw, it was blood everywhere. So he ended up looking up 3 different videos from 3 different angles. And of course, you can count on X to always have this traumatizing footage readily available for your viewing. He pulled up 3 different videos, and my God, was it blood everywhere. I mean, literal traumatizing amounts of blood was coming out of that man's neck. So maybe for Candace, the video that she's brave enough to look at is the video from an angle in which she does not get to see the insane amounts of blood pouring from the side of his neck after the shot went through. There was definitely a hole that penetrated his neck. I'm not sure why there was no bullet that maybe ricocheted from anywhere else, or why no one else got hit, but it seemed and looked like it was a clean shot straight through his neck, because the amount of blood that came out was absolutely insane. So I'm just like, okay, I do know of some famous people who said that they have done really high-tech holograms where they put on concerts and they did not have to be there, and the audience actually thought that they were there. So I need to see this stuff for myself to believe that this technology actually exists. But I thought that that was really funny that someone presented that, and they talked about the company. Interestingly enough, that same projector that the person showed and the stage being set up the way that it was literally identical to the promo material for that particular projector. So I just thought that was super weird. But anyways, I digress. So you have the Egyptian planes and Erika instantly trying to, absolve herself of ever being near or on an Egyptian plane. People thought that was weird. And then her saying that, she has proof that she was in the hospital. I'm not really sure what day she said she had proof for, but she did say that. People bringing up the fact that they feel as though she isn't grieving normally or naturally. And the fact that this man said that she was obviously dressed down, which is fine. But I mean, personally, I don't think I knew what Charlie's wife looked like before this situation. I don't think I've ever seen Erika before this. So I don't think that it was necessarily one of those situations where she needed to be undercover or anything like that. So that's kind of strange, but I get it. Some people love wearing baseball caps and, kind of keeping a low profile, especially if their husbands or their spouse is a high profile individual. That's totally understandable. But the thing that I also find extremely funny, outside of Candace being extremely excited on her update video, was the fact that no one knew this information. Candace was very cautious to ensure that she did not share this particular information with Erika. And I feel as though she did that on purpose to see how many lies Erika would tell. So she was trying to pretty much figure out how she could correlate the stories and the metadata to see, okay, how closely can I pinpoint Erika and anyone else in the organization to this particular location where Mitch was on that particular day. So I'm not sure if she has any other documentation that she got from Erika and the crew that could also prove that they were there. Now, I feel as though she would have stated that in this episode to kind of say, hey guys, I also have proof from them as well. Their itineraries, their travel logs, everything like that. I feel as though she should have definitely requested Erika's travel log since she was always so open to giving people her travel log. That's what she stated when she was getting interviewed by Barry Weiss. People should have took her up on that offer. After this interview, oh, she's definitely not giving anyone access to anything that she has. And rightfully so. I mean, I totally would understand it, but like, wow. So this is extremely damning information. And if it turns out to be true, what do you guys think? Literally, what do you guys think? How are you guys going to move forward with your thought process regarding this whole investigation? How is it going to make you look at Turning Point USA? How is it going to make you look at Erika Kirk? Are people just going to be kind of gun-ho on the fact that she's just a really bad liar? I mean, I've caught her in a couple lies already. I mean, it's kind of like one of those, you kind of like throw a rock and hide your hands type lie. You kind of slick and ease your way into manipulating people into thinking your intentions is one thing, but then they're completely opposite, behind closed doors. So because I've caught her in those types of lies, and a lot of people have caught her in multiple lies, they just feel like she's a liar. I don't know fully how I really feel about this woman, but I do know that she's hiding a lot. And for what reason? I don't know. That's kind of for us to eventually figure out. And this whole situation about the Tyler Robinson and whether or not he's innocent or not, and them losing the footage or not having access to the footage anymore of him walking into the police station, which I think is extremely negligent. Like, what? An individual that is being accused of assassinating a high-profile individual, you allow for your system to delete them walking in to the police station? I don't believe that one bit. Okay? So that seems extremely negligent. A lot of these companies, such as, and I would only assume that all police stations have a massive archive because of the fact that a lot of people that are coming into the station are criminals or have been a part of a criminal situation or a situation that's related to a crime. So why would you not keep footage of every individual that walks into your front door? It does not make any sense to me that they would allow for footage like that would be extremely valuable to get put away properly and stored away properly for the court hearing. I'm calling BS on that. Either they don't want Candace to have the footage, which is kind of like, free press. How are you going to prevent me from getting footage that is supposed to be readily available to the press to be able to request? I'm requesting it. You should give it to me. So if there was any intent behind why they are lying to her about not having the footage, because like I said, I'm calling BS. Either they purposely deleted it after they gave a copy to Cash Patel, or they just completely deleted it, or Tyler Robinson never actually walked in there and they don't have any footage. So you have all those things. But this situation about Erika Kirk being on a military base and her being a part of secret military meetings 2 days before her husband was assassinated. I'm wondering if he had any foreknowledge about this. Mind you, didn't she say in an interview that he slept in the kid's room the night before he left to go to his first event? So the day before he died, he slept in the kid's room. He sent out multiple messages to multiple people on his team that he felt like they were going to kill him tomorrow, which was the day he got killed, which was on the 10th. So on the 9th, he slept in the room with his children. He also sent out messages to his people who were supposed to be his friends. Because, I mean, if it was my friend, I would say, you're not going anywhere. We're going to cancel everything. Stay home. We'll figure this out. I would advise you to just go to the studio and we'll broadcast live. And we'll just say, hey, we have to cancel the event. It's literally just you going to speak on a college campus outside. Hey, it does not matter who we've already paid. We're just going to wipe our hands clean with that money that we just lost. So what? I would rather your life stay intact than us to put you at risk of being killed. That's what good friends do. That's what people who care about you do. They don't just ignore you and let you risk your life by going out and possibly getting your plane blown up or your car getting shot up or you getting killed in front of a bunch of college students while answering a question. So I'm just weirded out by all of this and the fact that Candace was able to confirm that yes, from Erika and the crew, that Charlie did send out messages saying that he thinks they're going to kill him tomorrow. And the fact that Andrew didn't tell him to cancel everything and stay home, that man is not to be trusted. Neither is the other gentleman, that man ain't no gentleman. Neither is the other dude that he texted. Those guys are not to be trusted. Because I'm sure if he would have texted Candace that, she would have told him to cancel everything and to stay at home. And that I'm getting on a plane right now and I'm coming to you. I guarantee you she would have did that. And for me, one of my biggest suspicions this entire time was, okay, Erika, you claim you had his phone. Now, granted, I'm sure she didn't have his phone the night before. So she got his phone afterwards and she chose not to actually search through his phone. Unless she did search through his phone and she found it and she just been lying this entire time saying that she never saw it. Because that seems like that's a continuing pattern that she has where she'll say one thing and then she'll come back and say, oh, I wasn't aware. Oh, it's too many people in between me and everyone else. Like, that could have been upper management passing the buck to make sure that she doesn't get directly blamed. That's not what a leader does. I'm sorry, that's not what a leader does. So she's already messing up on that front. One other thing I wanted to point out that also made me feel very uncomfortable about that story that she said regarding Charlie sleeping with the kids the night before. She also stated that he got up and left, like immediately left. He didn't say goodbye to her. He didn't kiss her. He didn't do anything. He just left. And to me, that makes me feel like that man wasn't on good terms with you. So this man got up. He knew he was going to be traveling all day. He told a couple of his friends or people that he worked with, because they're clearly not his friends, that he felt like they were going to kill him or murder him. And he didn't say bye to his wife. He didn't kiss his wife goodbye. He kissed those kids and he hugged and cuddled those children, but he didn't do that with her. Okay, answer me this, you guys. For all the men and women who are married and in great relationships, you don't necessarily have to be married. If your significant other felt like they were going to be murdered the next day and you guys have children, would your significant other bring the children into the room and all of you guys sleep in the same room together, cuddling the entire night? The kids on one side and you in their other arm, and you guys are snuggling all night? Or would your spouse do what Charlie did, which was sleep in the room with the children and completely ignore you and leave out the next morning without saying bye, giving you a hug, a kiss, nothing? What would your significant other do? Because I know what mine would do. So I just find that to be quite strange that he just left without saying anything to her. I'm not saying this. This came out of this woman's mouth, okay? She said this out of her own mouth. So, what do you guys think? How do you guys feel about all of this information? What do you think is going to come of what was just revealed in this episode of Candace's investigation about the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Leave a comment in the comment section below expressing how you feel about all of this and how you feel about really just everything that's been going on. Do you feel as though at this point Candace has been able to make up for how people were actually feeling about her energy and how she reported on her secret meeting or her private meeting with Erika Kirk? How do you feel about the private meeting? I don't think it should have been private. A lot of people don't think it should have been private. So, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about this information that was just revealed by Mitch? Do you believe Mitch? Do you feel as though you need a lot more information to be able to be solid on whether or not you feel anything about it? You know, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.
I'll be back.